Test one. Good evening, everybody. And let me get a couple audio things in right quick. Test, test, test. Can you everybody hear me? Ooh, I guess so. Looks like, let's see, on the soundboard it says I'm good, but I'm not seeing. Oh, there I am right there. Mic aux. Okay. I'm still a little bit new at this, and I still haven't changed my headers, and because I'm not a professional like Yamez, I'm busy working 100-hour work weeks, and these little things tend to seem to not be important when I've got 4 hours to sleep and then go on to the next job. So, oh, where's that at? There it is, right there. All right, transition, and bam. And how y'all guys doing tonight? I mean, move that over there. There we go. Oh, so I'm sorry, Yamez isn't forging, and neither am I. I know John Brunell's gonna like hastily show himself out the door because he's not interested in anything that's not getting something hot and hitting it. And I mean, I can get me hot, and yeah, no, never mind. Uh, but at the end of the day, I mean, like I'm in Texas. It's 108 outside. I'm not going out there, and I mean, I'm not going to light a fire. I mean, that's retarded. I don't care who you are or where you are. Nobody should do that. And if it's 108 where you're at, don't go light a fire and stand in front of it. I mean, you're just asking to be wind up in the hospital. And being somebody that has been hospitalized for 7 days due to a heat related illness, uh, I get really nervous when it gets over like 95 degrees and I got to be outside for more than about 10 minutes at a time. And I don't know. It just makes me real jumpy and leery about it. So like when it gets hot like this, I don't go outside. I've been asked at work, hey, can we go out and or can you go out and rig on a crane for me today? And I'm like, no. I mean, I could do it if it was wintertime, but like if I go out there now, it's 119 degrees. I'll be dead before noon. No, I'm not going. you know, that was a long time ago. They don't ask me that anymore. But um, yeah, no, it's Texas. It's way too hot to forge unless you're doing it at 2 a.m. And even then, it's 90. So I mean, like um, it's still tough, but it's doable. When you don't have it's still 90 degrees outside, but you don't have the sun beating down on you or the ambient sun heat coming in. So it is easier at night, but I do live primarily in a man camp with 25 other people, and they're not real happy with me out there like bang 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 ting bang 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 ting beyond like 11 o'clock at night. They start getting a little bit bent after it. They don't come out and say nothing, but it pisses people off. So I'm not gonna do that. Oh, let's get into the who's all here. Poor Paul Orchard was the first one in, and then Island Metal Forge being me, trying to let everybody know that Island Metal Forge Yamez is indisposed tonight, and I'm going to get into that into a minute. And John Brunel explicitly asked if I was forging, and I said I was not, so I'm sure he is um, just looking for an excuse to get out the door because none of us are entertaining if we're not hitting hot steel. Debaka's in, Eric, and who else do I have? Okay. Oh, Kevin trailed us 55. Um, you know, it's Jeff Killian. There's another human. So yeah, Yamez couldn't go live tonight because he is getting pounded, and I mean he sent me pictures, and I mean like it's coming from every direction, mostly from behind. And he's just worried that the electricity is going to get knocked out, and it's going to be another episode like last week where 30 minutes into the live stream, everything's gone. And so yeah, so he called me about an hour and a half ago and was like, "Hey, what are you doing? You still at work?" And I was like, "No, bitch, I'm two drinks deep. I'm fixing to crawl into the sack." And he's like, "I got storms," and so I was like, "Well, you want me to go for you? Because I mean, I can do it. I mean, like I'm a little fucked up, but um, yeah." And I chose my words carefully there, John and Eric. um, Anyways, yeah, so this was kind of a last minute, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, but I better slow down on the, where's it at? There it is. Better slow down on the adult beverages a little bit. I'm on my third one, so um, I got in it. I don't know, noonish, somewhere. I don't remember. Jack was still alive when I got in. Y'all were there. I don't know. Um, and my plan was just to have a few and crawl into the sack while I'm uh, doom scrolling TikTok, and then my whole plan got steamrolled by getting a dispatch for 7 in the morning, 2 hours away. It means I got to get up at like 3 because I got to leave at 7 6. I got to leave at 5, so that means I got to get up at 3:30. So if I was to go to bed this afternoon, I would have been up at way too early, like 9 or 10 o'clock, and that's just not cool. So staying up till 8 or 9, something like that, and then I'm gonna slide into bed, get me some sleep, and get up in the morning and go do it again. Tomorrow's rig move should be fairly easy, and I should be back here by about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So that's gonna be awesome. Not gonna be something where I'm stuck out there for 2 days or 3 days. And Daniel, Daniel Buck says too many jokes. There's no such thing as too many jokes. I mean, like even in after show today, Yamez is like, "Hey, I got a joke, but I need to run it by you to know if it's cool or not." And then he tells me the joke. I'm like, "Dude, that's some funny shit. I don't care who you are. That's funny. I'm good with it, and obviously it was a topical joke, so I've got a pretty good sense of humor. And Eric, you want to see those pictures. You do. In fact, I'll bring them up and I'll show them to you. Yeah, it's weather radar. But Alexis Unsober. Yeah, that is me if I'm not at work. Well, it used to be. It's not as common anymore. It's just yeah. I don't drink like I used to. I used to put them away, and I may have gone through this before, but yeah, I mean, like a 30 pack now lasts me like 6 weeks. I mean, like the fuck. Yeah, I used to be able to go through a 30 pack in 2 days if I wasn't working. Well, but yeah, got a little bit of vodka here and there. And Daniel says, "Slow down, don't slow down, speed up. We'll have more fun." Oh no, that is true. Uh, I often worry if I go a bit too far by the end of this show, and I'm three sheets to the wind. And I mean, like the last time I did this show, I mean, like I shut the stream down and I turned around and I walked right over there and crawled right in. Didn't take the makeup off. Didn't I didn't I didn't even turn the ring light off or the monitor or nothing. I just stopped streaming, went straight to bed, and I woke up the next morning going, "Fuck me. I hope I didn't say anything stupid." And well, I mean, and then I went back and looked at the stream, and it was 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I was like, "Well, I'm not going to rewatch that. That's way too long." Oh well, whatever happens, happened. It is what it is. Oh, Eric, come on now. I mean, it can't be that bad. I mean, we've all watched an adult educational video, and just saying. Well, of course, if it's Yamez, I mean, you might not want to watch. Yeah, Daniel, that's a daily thing. I mean, there's no way I'm gonna be on video and have my splotchy skin just like no. Like on Sunday shows when I don't have enough service to have video. Yeah, it's because I've been out for 30 hours, and that's how long it's been since I've shaved, and my eyeshadow's all like run down here this far from me rubbing my eyes, and it's like, yeah, nope, I don't have enough service for video. Just saying. um, Yeah, and I know it's not theatrical. This is just my go outside of the house daily stuff. And it is what it is. I mean, it's one of my dysphoria triggering things. So, you know, I'm getting better at it. Let's just say that because it's been uh, a journey. Uh, at least my theatrical foundation made my wrinkles kind of knish. Dude, I wish. I mean, like, well, I kind of do because, like, it'd be great to kind of make that go away. But on the other hand, how thick has it got to be to do that? I mean, whew. I mean, mine, I'm a pretty thin layer as it is, so I can't complain too much there. Now, to be fair, sometimes I actually don't have enough service where like I can't get video out at all. If I do, everything just glitches. But yeah, most of the time it's like I look at myself. I look at myself in the mirror. I roll down the window and I'm like, oh, good lord, no, I can't let people see me like this. Ugh. I scared a guy once putting on makeup for a play in a public bathroom. Whoo! Yeah, that would do it for sure. Oh man. I'm having to come at this completely unprepared. I don't have a list of things to rant about, although I'm sure you guys could remind me of some of them. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, Daniel Bach is like carrying the conversation in the chat. Nah, nobody else has got shit to say. So I mean, oh, okay, I do have something. Some I carry bags around for just such an occasion. I bet you do. I bet you do, Kevin. I bet you do. And honestly, Daniel, I mean, like, all of I've never done makeup for like the recorded videos because I mean my face usually isn't in it. It's usually just like my arms and the anvil and etc. And that's usually all it is. And I see Yama's just joined into the Discord, and for some reason I'm not able to get it up on my OBS because every time I open Discord on the OBS, it's showing OBS on the screen, so that's not working. So yeah, Yamez, you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, right on. All right, let me finish my thought real quick. And so like I don't really wear makeup for my recorded videos because like I said I don't really intend for my face to be in there very much. But for lives I really I mean like I spend an hour and a half getting ready uh, because I mean I'm 48 years old. It takes a lot of work to look as good as I do, and I realize I'm still a train wreck. So uh, it is no easy task to look normal. I guess I don't know. That's that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yama. Oh, the new glasses. You know what, dude? These are freaking amazing. So I've had these glasses for just over 24 hours. Um, they're bifocals, and make fun of me if you want, but it is sweet because before I've got a pair of reading glasses and I got my looking glasses, so I got my regular glasses on. If I got to read something, I have two choices. I can either switch glasses and read it, or I can hold my phone at arm's length and look underneath or over the top of my glasses. And
The whole boomer thing.
yeah, exactly. And you know what? Hey, I'm getting old, and that's Gen X. We're getting old. I mean that's just the way it is.
Yep.
And it is so nice that now I mean like I can look down and read my phone, and I look right over here and read the computer screen, and it's like I don't have to change glasses. This is badass. Sorry, first day with bifocals, and I'm freaking loving it. And at the glasses place, they're like, "Oh, you won't like bifocals. You're gonna want transitions." And so like I got transitions, and then like I'm looking around and I'm like, "Well, this is fucked up. What I can't. What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh no, you can't move your eyes. You got to look with transitions. You just look straight ahead and you move your whole head to see." And I'm like, "Who the
That's
fuck wants?"
not the way the human eye works.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't do that. I mean, like I drive a truck. I'm looking. My face looks straight ahead, and my eyes go mirror, front, gauges, mirror. I mean, like my head just moves like just this much, and the rest of it is all just my eyeballs moving around. It's like I can't drive and turn my whole head to go look at that mirror, and then back to this mirror, and then to those gauges, and then to these gauges, and then back to the road. I mean, like, that's not. I don't understand why anybody would want glasses that do that. That it is so much more.
You sprain a muscle.
Huh?
You'll sprain a muscle in your neck.
And I mean, it's like, and they're like, oh, well, you got to get used to it. And I'm like, I don't want to get used to that. That is so much more work than just my eyes going in every direction. And they're like, well, obviously transitions are like $300 freaking dollars more than just regular old line bifocals. And I told them I wanted line bifocals, and they're like, "Oh no, you don't want those because if you get those, you'll never be able to do transitions. So you should start with transitions." No, I got I got the transitions.
It was like, good. I don't want transitions anyway.
Well, I didn't
so
know.
I don't need to get used to them.
I didn't know. I'd never seen them. You know what I mean? I'd never had bifocals. I never had transitions. Last year when I got my glasses, they told me I needed bifocals. I was like, no, just give me single vision. I don't need the reading glasses. I have reading glasses. And that's what I did. And then so I'm always swapping them out. It's my first time having glasses in my life. And then this year I'm like, all right, let's go for the bifocals and let's try this out. And the first thing they're like, oh well, you don't want the line ones, you want transitions because they cost more, so that means they're better. And yeah, no, that was a whole freaking can of worms. Literally, I started in January with my eye exam. They got the eye exam wrong 3 times, and finally, I went in there last month and I was like, look, I want you to use the prescription you gave me last year, and then those main lenses and 175 line bifocals. And they're like, all right, well, next year you got to get a new one. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, you guys cannot do an eye exam with this whole like computer thing. It's not working. And so when my new glasses came in, the guy there's like, the booth thing doesn't really work for you. So don't come back here. You're gonna need to go somewhere that has an in-house doctor. And I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back here. Yeah, I kind of figured that. So, yeah, but I am liking the new glasses. I've got some new ones coming from the internet as well. That are new sunglasses and whatnot, because I've broken and super glued together my black and white ones. So, yeah.
Mr. Maker, I've had optometrists try to sell me on bifocals. I told him to stop pushing because I don't need them. He said angrily as he walked out the door, bumping into the glass.
Yeah. I didn't need bifocals last year either because I had reading glasses and I'll have regular glasses, right? Yeah. I gotta say, people don't get bifocals because they have to have them. People get bifocals because it's so much easier than always switching back and forth. Um,
Yeah.
it really is, and like I said, I've been at it for a day, and I'm just like, this is so cool. But,
Right.
it's so funny when you kids talk about getting old. Is that so, Kevin? Well, Kevin, one day you'll be as old as me, and you'll kind of understand, what life's all about, and you know what it's like for to have 2013 vision your whole life, and then all of a sudden in 5 years it just degrades down to nothing. What it's like to be able to hear a fart in the wind at 100 yards, and then the next thing you know, you're yelling at your wife next to you on the couch. What? I said change the channel. You know. You'll get there someday. Someday. You'll look forward to it.
But now to answer everybody's questions, it's still raining its butt off over here. Did lose power for a minute, and yeah, I am still getting pounded.
You caught that, did you?
Yeah, I read up in the chat. Everybody's making fun of me. Oh well.
That was. Did you hear it or did you just read it?
I just read it.
Okay, so what I said was, so I'm filling in for Yamez. He called me about an hour and a half for showtime and says, and just told me he was getting pounded. And I was like, he sent me pictures, and it's coming from all directions, but primarily from behind. And he's worried about knocking the electricity out. So I decided to go ahead. So that was the whole premise.
Oh.
I'm sorry it was great, but as soon as you called me and you sent me pictures of the weather, I was like, oh, I know where I'm going with this.
I just wanted to pop in and say hey and thank you.
You don't think you'll be as old as me again, Trail does? Yeah, probably not. And I have had the safety glasses with the readers, but that was way back before I really need or even thought I needed readers, and they just messed with me. I mean, like it was really, because I had these like blurry spots in the bottom of my vision, and I'm just like, no, I can't do this now. That'd be sweet if I had a pair of those if I could find them, but yeah, at the time I was just like, this is so weird, and now I'm like. This is my first day with bifocals, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. Jeff Woodring says he just got a pair of digital progressive glasses after having bifocals and trifocals. I love the new type of progressive. Really? Because I mean, okay, I don't know. I mean, okay, trifocals. I understand what it is, but I have a hard time like conceptualizing that thin strip in the middle for that mid distance. You know, like how do you? I mean, I guess it's not that hard. I mean, because like I'm adjusting relatively quickly to the, you know, you look at everything up here, and then when you're gonna read, you look down at it. You know, I mean, like I've adjusted to the bifocals really quickly. You know, the first few hours driving was kind of like a little bit weird because I'm trying to look down at the gauges, and I realize I got to like just like tilt my head just a little bit because I got to look through the top side for my gauges, not the bottom side. But yeah, and wait until I need cataract surgery, and I'm hoping to not live that long. I mean, you know, I don't know. I get best I can figure about 20 years left. I mean, you know, I'm okay with that. Old as you, you're now over 56 now? No, 56. Come on now, 48. I'll be 48. I'll be 48 on the day of the opening ceremonies of Quad State. So Quad State opens on Quad State always happens within on the week of my birthday, and this year opening ceremonies are on Friday the 22nd, which is my 48th birthday, or my 23rd annual 25th birthday. Raining. No. I'm not getting pounded. No. Yamas is getting pounded. I wish we had rain here. Ugh. It wouldn't be 108 outside. It'd be like 95 and raining. That'd be so much better. Whoo. Welcome to the old man complaint hour. I know that. Well, okay, I can take a little bit of issue with that sentence to begin with, but okay, fair enough.
Well, all the old guys in the chat bitching.
Yeah. Ooh. Trail List 55. I had a lot of those hours. When I'm 56, I can say old. No, that's incorrect. I mean, like, because when I was a kid, anybody over 40 was old. And so, like, when I cross that, I mean, like, because 40 is the over the hill, right? Because most people don't make it to 80. I mean, that's just a fact. And so, like, 40 is over the hill because you've got less time left than you have behind you. And so, I mean, like, in my opinion, once you're over 40, you're old. And, I mean, you know, it's just how old are you, you know? Okay, if you're, God, I don't know. I don't know where I fall in the Gen X generation thing, but
I'm the tail end of Gen X.
huh? I'm probably mid to tail end of Gen X, because I know you're like that Zennial thing, like you're like almost Gen X and almost millennial.
Firstly, if I can go on a fucking rant about that shit.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
I'm taking a deep breath. All right. So they move these fucking goalposts left and right.
No. They don't move.
No, they do. You read, if you're online, they say, "Oh, well, you know." When I was a kid, Gen X was up to 85. Okay. Now you look at it and they say Gen X ends at 79. And it's like, no, like that's not how it works. And they said, well, we moved Gen X over to 79 and created the Xennials, you know, and it's like Xennials is a little micro, you know, thing that, you know, early millennials created to try to be like, no, we're Gen X, but they didn't fall in that, you know, already defined line. So it's just basically the people who were the best at the internet, the early millennials, were like, well, we'll just create something new, and then if you talk about it enough, it'll be true. And it's like, no, I am Gen X. I am the end of Gen X, but I am Gen X. God damn it.
All right, fair enough. Uh,
You know, so like, yeah, they keep moving these goalposts.
yeah, that's right. That's right, Trail Dust. You're still a solid boomer, and
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, I mean, like it's weird to me how like you watch the TikToks, the Instagram Reels, Facebook, whatever they are, maybe the Reels. I don't know what to call them, but because I don't really do much Facebook other than what cross posts, but um, being Gen X, I mean, like I mean, like I don't really, whatever it is what it is. It just means when I was born, when I was raised, whatever. But the way it's described, it's like it's my life. Like we were raised feral. You know what I mean?
oh
Like
yeah, me
I
too.
mean, like you get in the summertime. When you're not in school, you get up in the morning, you eat breakfast, and mom says, "Go the fuck outside and don't come back until I call you in." And then if whatever happens, whatever, you got to come in and go to the bathroom or something like that. It's like, why are you coming in and out? And you're letting out the bought air. I mean, like, can't you pee behind a tree?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I'm,
and then it's like, at the end of the evening, mom would walk outside and scream our name, and didn't matter. We knew, however far we were, it was within hearing distance of mom yelling, and we come back, and then if we didn't hear mom yell, streetlights was the other cue. It's like, whoop, streetlights came on, we got to go.
yep.
And then and I mean, dude, I rode my bike like 30 freaking miles when I was in school. Like me and my buddies, we told our friends we're camping or not camping, that we were staying at somebody else's house, and none of us were staying at anybody's house, and we all got on our bicycles and we rode like 30 miles out to this place called Foster Park, and we swam till 2 o'clock in the morning, and then got up in the morning and then like rode our bikes all the way back to town. It was the dumbest idea ever, but our parents didn't know where we were.
Yeah,
We could have been dead. They wouldn't have known.
yeah. I mean, sure, you tell them where you're going, but you just tell them what they want to hear.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we're going over to Kyle's. Who's Kyle? I don't know. I met him when I was out at the park.
Right, right.
You know?
Well, I gotta say, I mean, like, okay, so it wasn't quite that bad. I mean, like, like when I was staying, I'm staying at Andy's house. Andy's staying at my house. My friend Steve is staying at Joe's house, and Joe is staying at Steve's house. And I mean, like, so there's this whole intermix of like, because our parents have to know whose house it is, and so like whoever each of us for whoever our quote unquote best friend is, that's whose house we're staying at, and and we've done it often enough. Like Andy stayed at my house often enough. I've stayed at his house often enough that like my parents aren't going to call his parents and vice versa. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
nobody's going to think anything of it. So we just say that, boom. We get on our bike. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. School lets out. We get on the bicycles, and phew, it takes us till 8 o'clock to get across town. You know what I mean? Like 4 hours just across town, and then now we got another 15 miles to go to get out to the park. And yeah, that was good shit. Probably one of the dumbest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Jumping off of a bridge into the river at
I've
two
done
o'clock
that.
at 2 o'clock in the morning. In the dark. You can't even see the water. I mean, okay, to be fair, that was really fun because you don't know we're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no street lights. There's nothing but moonlight, and there wasn't a moon that night. So I mean, like, so we had glow sticks, and so like the first couple people went off, and you just jump in, and you don't know when you're gonna hit the water, even though we've been off this bridge 100 times, and we know it's like 4 seconds down to the water. It's still, you don't know when it's coming. You know what I mean? Because and that made it so exciting. And then after a while, we had glow sticks, and we'd throw the glow sticks down, and so you could see where the water level was, and then you'd hit, and you'd come up, you'd grab your glow stick, swim over to the bank, climb back, whatever. But I mean, that's just one of those things that we got away with back in the day. That I mean, if if a parent today, and I think I said this on last week's morning show, if you kicked your kids outside for the day, the cops would be knocking at your door. You know what I mean? Like, lady, you do realize it's 119 out here. You can't just leave your kid outside. And when I was a kid, she'd be like, "Yes, I can. It's 125 in the house. We don't have an air conditioner." Oh, my bad. Carry on.
Yeah, who are they to tell us what to do?
Yeah. Drank from the hose. Not the one Becky here used to drink. Yeah, I think we all drank from the hose, though. I mean, like, and don't get me wrong. Is it just me, or did hose water was it really refreshing? I mean, like,
oh my god, it's so.
I
can't see a hose without wanting to take a drink.
I mean, I have this memory of like turning on the water hose, and obviously you got all the hot water that's going to come out first, right? And so you wait and you wait and you wait, and then the water gets cold, and you take a big old drink, and then you kind of spray it all over yourself. And to me, I mean, like in my memory, that was the most refreshing drink of water. But we had really good well water, so I mean, there's that. But I mean, like, I fucking loved hose water. Now, that same hose, because I've been conditioned, I would not drink out of that same hose today. Same well, same hose, same water, would not do it. Well, it's not the same hose, obviously, but they don't last that long. Yes, Yamez is a disembodied voice in Alexis's room. That is correct. We did say Yamez was getting pounded tonight.
Yep. Man, they put a subdivision in my old stomping grounds. I mean, even though it was always a big subdivision area. Sorry, just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, I'm looking at what felt like, riding my bike like 30, 40 miles. I'm like, I rode forever. And I'm looking at it on a map. I found the school we used to go behind, and it's like just the other side of the highway. It's maybe like 8 blocks, 10 blocks.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we had to climb through a drainage ditch onto the highway, but, it felt like an adventure.
Yeah, and, I got... yeah. Dabaka was talking about cutting their own switch and this, that, and the other. I never had to do that because, I mean, like, my parents were pretty, they had it pretty down. My mom when we were real small, my mom used to beat us with a wooden spoon. And then we got big enough that she was breaking the wooden spoons, and that shit's expensive. And so she quit doing that. Well, once she quit with the wooden spoon, it was just like, just wait till your father gets home. And Dad always used the belt. And the worst wasn't like Dad like pulling it off and as the belt clears all the belt loops. That was like, you knew that was coming. But it's like when Dad's been home for 2 hours and he hasn't said shit. And you're thinking, well, maybe Mom forgot. And then it's like, get in here. Yeah, what's up? Go to my room and go get my belt. And it's like, shit. Walk back to the bedroom, and there's Dad's pants with the belt still in it, and you got to pull it out. Walk back, give it to him. What's this shit your mom told me? Yeah, I heard you was talking back, and then it's like, all right, bend over. And if you didn't, I mean, like, it didn't, I mean, the older you got, the less it hurt. But if you didn't make a show out of it, it just got worse. So, I mean, you had to at least pretend it like it was killing you,
Yeah, you had to. Yeah,
you had
every kid learned to ham it up.
To ham it up, or it's gonna get worse.
But if you ham it up too much,
well, no, right, no, because I did try that one time. I'm like, really? That's all you got, old man? Like,
Yeah,
you ain't no,
that's not all he got.
you
That's
ain't
all
no
he's
baseball
giving.
player, and whoo boy, that was the
I did,
wrong thing to say.
I pulled that line on a dominatrix once. Ooh, it pissed her off.
Chirp, 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 chirp.
I mean, to be fair,
And to be fair,
you know, it was egged on by a crowd at Ozfest. Everybody, it's like it was some like dominatrix booth or whatever where you pay her $20 and she puts on a little show for everybody, you know, like and she like ties you to a thing, and all my buddies are like, oh, you should do that, we know you can take a punch, and I'm like, I'm not paying some woman to do that to me, like it's whatever, it does not interest me. And you know my buddy Jay threw in, he's like, here, my get him, gave her $20 and she pulled me out of the crowd, and it's like everybody's laughing, and she does that whole thing where, oh, I'm sexy and I'm abusive and blah blah blah, and slap me, and I'm and just no reaction. And like, I'm like, that's, you hit like a girl. I think is what I said, and just her eyes got all, that angry face, like flared nostrils, wide eyed, and she hauled back and just reeled. I mean, my ears were ringing, and I just turned my head back and I said, "Was that it?" Everybody got excited and started throwing money at her, and it's like, hit him hard, hit him with a brick, or whip him. It's like, oh, she started grabbing tools and everything, and like her manager like stopped up, was like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. You're about to kick this. Those are just props for this show. You can't literally kick the shit out of this guy.
yeah,
It was great.
my we're talking about the hose water thing. There, just kind of close that out. Like my house growing up, my mom still lives in the house that I grew up in for the most part. I mean, we moved around a lot, and my family settled down in '83, and mostly stopped moving. I mean, we did move away from that house a couple times, but my parents never sold it, and we came back to it a few times. But the when we first moved there, the pipes were all galvanized, and we had well water that was really high in iron, and so the iron would like stick to the inside of the iron sediment would stick to the inside of the pipes, and the insides would get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until we would have no water flow, and so we would have to back flush them, and so you'd like hook the hose up to the well straight from the well, and then like push the water the opposite direction through all the pipes, and it would blow out all that sediment and stuff. And over the years, and my dad changed it all to PVC, and then like before even CPVC came out, and then even then, I mean, it's like every time there was a freeze, like a hard freeze, it would get the water lines, because I mean, we live in Texas, so shit's buried like 6 inches deep. There's no frost line. We don't get a frost. And but every few years, shit would go sideways, and we'd have to fix the PVC here or there or whatever. Well, in my I don't know, mid 20s, whatever, I was a plumber, and I had access to plumbing supplies at wholesale, and so I redid the whole damn house in copper. And at the time, that was the longest lasting thing you could get. 20 years. The lifespan of copper pipe and fittings was about 20 years, and then it would have to be replaced, right? PEX was just coming out at the time, but I mean, it was really hard to get, and it was really expensive. And so I mean like I had just gotten certified for a PEX install, but I mean, like, there's no way I could afford to redo my mom's house in PEX. So I did the whole thing in copper, all the way from the meter, all and then everything in the house. I ran a whole new water line and all that, and that's been almost 30 years ago. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, all of that copper is at the end of its lifespan. And at the time, the idea was, copper, the first time it freezes, it will just kind of expand. It'll stretch with the ice, and you're good. The second time it freezes, it'll split. But you're allowed to freeze at one time. But yeah, no, and now I'm dreading, like, like eventually that's going to be my house, and
Like,
it's like, do I fix it or do I just take a bulldozer to it and start from scratch? I'm not really sure. I'm probably
I
I'm probably leaning towards the bulldozer myself, but
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. Number
it
one,
was built in the '50s, so
yeah, remodeling an old house, unless you have the funds, like I'm talking like full gut remodel is insane. Because if
well,
you're opening everything up, you're going to want to do everything. And that includes shoring up any issues with the wood, electrical, plumbing, HVAC,
oh yeah,
all
yeah,
that
no. If
stuff.
if I redid it once, I pulled the sheetrock, because I'm pretty sure the sheetrock is holding up the studs right now.
Right.
Like because the termites, you know what I mean? And so, like, um when I pulled, I'm one stud at a time, I'm gonna, or one board at a time, I'm gonna have to replace every stud, every footer, every header, all of it. Especially in the addition, the second edition, which is like my mom's bedroom, and then what was my bedroom when I was growing up. There was just a two-bedroom addition that was like 25 foot by 25 foot and 25 foot, but we both had rooms. The master bedroom and the second bedroom were both 25 by 25, and whatever the fuck that is in square footage, I don't know, with walk-in closets and all that stuff. But yeah, that whole addition is like literally the whole thing is sitting on the sheetrock. I mean, like, it is dropped, because, and it's sitting on a cement slab, and it's still dropped 4 inches in the last like 10 years, and so yeah. Ugh. And I'm telling I told my mom, I was like, you really need to move out of that room and move into the main part of the house, because one day the wind is going to blow just a little too hard and that whole section is going to collapse. Does she listen to me? No.
I just shared a picture of a house from the 50s that somebody must love very much because they raised it up on to replace all the pylons that it sits on, and I had a job right next door to it, and holy crap, that place is falling apart.
Yeah. Um, I don't have any idea how to get to that. Let me see here. Um, Now, somebody in the Canadian necktie, I challenged once my mom and it put me through a wall.
Yeah,
I never went sideways with my mom, um, until like a year ago. But um, yeah, I did. I mean, like, I got into it with my dad one time because me and my mom took his truck, which was a '74 Chevrolet half-ton single cab, whatever, 350 Granny 3-speed, and we took it down to the store, which is like 9 blocks away. And on the drive, it got stuck. I mean, all of a sudden it wouldn't shift, and then, like, the only gear my mom could get was low, and so it got stuck in granny gear. We made it the last block to the store. You got the shit we were gonna get, and then had to drive all the way back home, 9 blocks. Let me tell you something. 9 blocks in granny gear takes like 20 fucking minutes. All right. That's like 2 miles an hour wrapped out. And we went in, and mom's like, I think the clutch went out. We got stuck in granny gear and we can't get it out. And my dad lost his shit. And at the time, we had a '79 Suburban, and it was having issues with the transmission, and not the transmission, but the flex plate between the transmission and the torque converter. I mean, the torque converter and the crankshaft, and it was breaking flex plates and whatever. And what wound up being was the bolts on the transmission got loose, and so between the transmission and the block, they were rubbing back and forth, and it had wore down the transmission casing and the block, and so it wasn't bolting up square. It was bolting up just tweaked enough that it would break a flex plate after about 2 weeks. And so we got the case to the transmission replaced. Our insides put into the Amy Viapondo. Thanks for becoming a member. That's badass. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And so I got a side story on that, but that'll wait. So we, anyways, we replaced the case of that transmission, and it didn't do shit. It was still 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, it was breaking a flex plate. So then we started shimming it, and even that wasn't right because the block had also worn. And the problem at the end of the day was the block had worn where the transmission bolts up, and it was bolting up at an angle, breaking flex plates. So my dad's like, the transmission goes out. My dad says, "All right, boy, get into that truck, pull that transmission, and we're gonna put it in the Suburban." And I'm like, the Suburban's a turbo 350 automatic. The pickup is a granny 3-speed manual. I was like, rigging up the clutch and the linkages and all that stuff. That's a freaking nightmare. I mean, it can be done, but it sucks. I mean, it's really difficult. It's easy to convert a manual to an automatic, but an automatic to a manual is not as easy. And I just looked at him. I'm like 17 at the time. And I looked at him and I was like, "Fuck you. Pull your own transmission." And I turned around and I walked away like I'm a teenager. I'm like, I'm a bad motherfucker right here. And I'm like, I'm just walking across the street, and like my old man was a, or it, no, I'm sorry, not was, is a big dude, and he's like I never, I mean, like at the time we're talking about 280, 5'8", 280 pounds, big dude, more wide than anything, but big dude, but all muscle. I never heard him coming. Never heard shit. I'm just walking across. I'm headed to my buddy's house. I'm like, fuck that shit. Don't be stupid, And then all of a sudden, he picked me up by my hair. I never heard anything until my feet left the ground, by my hair. Then he grabbed me by my pants, the back of my pants, and carried me by my hair and my pants over the pickup, and then threw me underneath it. And I slid up underneath the pickup. And then once I came to a stop, I said, "Change that transmission, boy. And don't fucking argue with me." And he turned around and walked back inside. And I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm just laying there. I'm like, I got my arms crossed. I'm like, fuck, motherfucker, you don't know. God, we should just change the freaking clutch. That's going to be so much easier. It'll take 20 minutes. It'll cost $70. It's just, there's no reason. And I'm like, I just stewed for like a half an hour. And then 45 minutes or whatever, I hadn't even moved. I was still laying under the transmission or underneath the truck with my arms crossed. And he comes back out and he's like, "Hey, bud, I think you're right. We should probably just put a new clutch in it. So if you want to get the setup, and we'll go ahead and get that transmission slid back so we can get the clutch out." And I was like, and then he closed the door and went inside. And I was like, yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Now I didn't say that out loud where he would have heard me, but that's that's what I thought to myself. That was good stuff right there.
Yep.
Old memories of sweating copper. Dude, I was so stoked when I learned how to sweat copper. I was like, this is the neatest thing ever, and being able to do it good. And then I had to do it with like 6-inch copper water main for a Walmart. And it's like, it's not even sweating, you're silver soldering it. And it's like, man, we're looking at like $300 worth of fittings right here. And if I get it like 20 degrees too hot, I'm going to burn it. And I got to cut the whole thing out and start over again. Ooh, that was nerve-wracking. I hated silver solder. The big stuff. Small stuff like 1 inch and below, easy peasy. The big stuff, it sucked though.
Shouldn't you use antiperspirant when you're sweating copper?
No. You want to encourage the perspiration,
And then feed it chili peppers. I sweat all the time when I eat chili peppers.
Daniel Baca, you had an old double wide that split down the middle after an earthquake, like down the house seam. Is that I mean, what? Earthquake is on my bucket list. All right, so for those of you that don't know, I mean, most people like to avoid a what do you call it, a natural disasters, but I'm like, I check them off, right? I've been in the vicinity of a volcanic eruption. I have literally had a tornado roll right across the top of my pickup while we're in it. So I've been actually in the center of a tornado, and I've had lots of them go like really close within 100 yards. So tornadoes are checked off, volcanoes checked off, but earthquake and hurricane are still on my list. I missed a
Man,
hurricane. I missed the hurricane last year at Yamez's by what was it? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? I mean, like
right?
missed it by that. I mean, like when I was there at Yamez's, the weather was beautiful. It was nice. We went down to Kitty Hawk. We dipped our toes in the ocean. We hugged each other and whispered sweet nothings into each other's ears. I mean, it was great, And then like I got on the road and I get like 2 states away, and he's like, "Fucking hurricane," and I'm like, "Ah, I should turn around." And I'm like, I should turn around and go back, you know.
Let me tell you, it's the hurricane itself is not, and this is a controversial statement because a lot of people don't understand, or if they have been through a hurricane, they didn't view it the same way I did. Because I've been through a couple. One major, but that major one I evacuated. The storm itself, it's just a big, nasty, violent, damaging storm. The real suckfest part of a hurricane is the aftermath. Is dealing with. Well, first off, you've got a week or so of everybody calling you an idiot for not leaving, blah 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 blah, and dealing with the stress of that, and then then you've got after the fact, seeing the area that you call home flattened, destroyed, all everything dead, everything, everybody struggling, and then you see on the news, like just the lies and complete bullshit that goes with all that, and it's just there are still parts in the Keys that are blue tarped. I can't see a blue tarp or a blue tin roof without immediately thinking of like my next door neighbors still got a blue tarp on their roof. Like my old neighbors still. 3 of the 4 places that I lived are wiped off the map. The houses are gone, and that's what's tough about a hurricane is losing everything you've had,
Right.
losing everything you've built.
And to be fair, I don't mean I want to experience a hurricane in that respect, because
You just want to experience the Mother Nature aspect.
I want to ride one out. Like the wind, the rain, the what do they call it when the water comes in? What's that called? The
Storm surge.
Huh?
Storm surge.
Storm surge. That I want to like ride that out, because to me, I mean, the wind speeds are like, a little bit less than a tornado. I mean, like, when I lived in Wyoming, I mean, like, fuck, the wind blew 70 miles an hour all day, every day, west to east. Yeah, there's nothing you could do about it. I mean, like, if you get that going in a circle, that's a tornado. I mean, like, an F1 is literally like 75-mile-an-hour winds. It's like, woo, yay. And I mean, like, and honestly, I mean, you can get, I don't know what the bottom, the like lower level is for between tropical storm and hurricane. But I mean, like, it's not that much more.
It go from tropical storm, it's tropical depression, tropical storm, hurricanes, 1, and then it goes up.
Right,
now,
right. What's because and all of that is determined by wind speed.
Yeah. Now, all right. I'm trying to pull up the chart so that I'm not a straight up liar. I know what I'm about to say. Hurricane force chart, but it's something like, all right, a category, a tropical depression is winds of over 38 miles an hour. Tropical storm is winds 39 to 73. Category 1 is 74 to 95.
Okay.
Cat 2 is 96 to 110. 3 is 111 to 129. As you can see, it's going up about 20 every time.
Okay,
Um,
fair enough. So like basically, Category
and
One
then
is about the same as an or yeah, Category One is about the same as an F1 tornado as far as wind speed
yeah,
goes.
yeah, and Cat 5 is anything over 157 miles per hour, and that's
Yeah,
because like
and
they
I think an EF5 is like I think on a tornado an EF5 is like I don't know. For some reason I'm thinking like I got 350 miles an hour in my head, but
no
that's not
yeah,
possible.
no
It's not
because
that high.
the red dot or the red spot on Jupiter is a massive hurricane, and its wind speeds are 400 miles per hour,
Right.
and that is 10 times the strongest, or not 10 times. You know, like that's the
10 times
size.
would be the strongest winds in on the state in on Earth is 40 mile an hour. Come on now.
The strongest, the
Wyoming's got that
strongest
whooped every day.
recorded, the strongest recorded winds on Earth was on Mount Washington, and that was at I think 231 miles per hour.
Woo, that's getting it.
Please don't ask me how I know this, but look it up if you don't believe me. It was like 230 something, 200 something. You
Hey,
know,
what's the longest lightning strike on Earth?
still going on,
Huh? No, no,
still
no. The
going on.
longest, the longest one lightning strike, like from cloud to ground.
Oh,
The
I'd have to
length of
Google
it.
it. I don't know.
Yeah, 6,000 and change miles.
Yeah.
That's a long ass lightning strike. But
What what did I answer there, Adam? Is it 75 for Cat 1? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 74 to 95. But yeah, I mean,
and yeah, and the same
it
thing. They're
and
like
the thing is,
you're saying a Cat 5, everything is gone for a hurricane. Same thing. I mean, like if an EF5 rolls through your town, I mean, there's nothing left but dirt. I mean, like and
yeah,
debris. I mean, like
it's
everything is gone. I mean, like an EF5 destroys everything. I mean, like if you're in a storm cellar, you might not survive an EF5. I mean, it could rip the roof right off of that, even though it's underground. It's just like ugh. Yeah,
now
yeah.
I will say
Amy's
this.
right there. Wyoming is a Cat 1 about 8 months, and that's no. I am not shitting you. I've been out there and like the springtime in the middle of the day and leaned into the wind and been able to lean like 45 degrees. I mean, I weighed a lot less back then. I was like 125 pounds, but I could lean into the wind and I'm like, this is so neat. But I mean, yeah, the
Yeah,
wind just
EF5 and the F5 F4 is the Fujita scale,
okay.
and EF is enhanced Fujita. It's like
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's basically with enhanced data that they've gained over the years. You know, so they had to adjust the speeds and everything. And EF5 is over 200 miles per hour. EF4 is 166 to 200. So yes, tornadoes are more powerful than hurricanes as far as wind speeds go. Where hurricanes are more deadly is the size and
It's the
the
scope of damage. I mean, like you're talking about hundreds of miles versus like an EF5 wedge at its best is a mile wide. I mean, like that the biggest tornadoes in EF5 is a mile wide wedge, and it's going down and it's just destroying everything in its path. But if you're just like 500 yards either side, you're good, you know. But
yeah,
in a hurricane, that's not the case, you know. But
Hurricane
it doesn't matter.
Irma.
I still want to ride one out.
Hurricane Irma. Its winds were 180 miles per hour, or 285 kilometers per hour. And let me see. It's I'm trying to find
And
its
John,
size.
you were so wrong. Like I've gained like 40 pounds in yeah, I'm not blowing away. You're blowing away. I've sat next to you. I guarantee you weigh less than I do now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Canadian necktie. That's a breeze in Nova Scotia if you can lean into it, right? That's right about there, straight across from Wyoming. I guess when you get up to that latitude, the wind just goes that way, and there's nothing you can do about it. Why do all the trees lean to the east? Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's
Robert Whitney, hi guys. I guess I got in the middle of the Weather Channel. Yes, you did. We're old and we're talking about the weather. All right. Um, sorry about your bad luck, but you got a couple Gen Xers, and at least we're not boomers. Just saying. It could be Kevin and John up here. Oh, back in my day, oh, we used to have to walk uphill 10 miles each way to go to school in the
okay.
snow
So I don't have
before.
an exact numbers for it, but Hurricane Irma was about the size of the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So it's like, if you want to know a hurricane, look at this. Look at the satellite images of some of the larger hurricanes, and then look at like the overlays of where they hit, and then like pick the place you want to be, because there is a safer side of the hurricane. The east side of the hurricane, it's like a chainsaw. Hold on.
Yeah, no, I mean, Adam there is talking about like comparing hurricanes and tornadoes is like tank rounds over big. I mean, like no, we all know understand the difference. I mean, like the wind speeds are a little bit different, but I mean the devastation on a hurricane is obviously much larger because of the size of the area it impacts versus
Yeah.
the
Well,
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like Amy said that Wyoming is a Category 1 hurricane all day, every day, but everything up there is used to that. I mean, everything is. I mean, like the trees lean one way, the grass leans one way. I mean, like everything is leaning because of the wind, and I mean, like, and you just get used to it because the wind always blows from the same direction all the goddamn time, and it's just the way it is, and it's irritating. But I mean, after I lived there for 2 years and I moved down here, I'm like, fuck, I kind of miss the wind. I mean, like, and when I was there, I was like, man, I can't wait to move back to where there's no fucking wind. And then, I was like, oh, I kind of miss that because, I mean, like in the summertime, yeah, it's 90 degrees, but you still got a 60, 70 mile an hour wind coming at you. So, I mean, it can't be that hot, even though it's hot air. Um, and I'm telling you, Daniel Baca, when you're talking about the Santa Ana winds, I mean, like I remember that from a kid when I was a kid, like in the '80s. Like I remember like the dread of when it was time for the Santa Ana winds. It was like California. Every time the Santa Anas were going to kick up, that means California was going to be burning. Because it's just I don't know the ins and outs of the Santa Anas, like the direction, but I know it's like dry, hot air.
Santa Ana.
Hmm?
Jeff Dunham, Santa Ana now.
Santa Ana.
But yeah,
Yeah, Robert, it's been anything but a blacksmith. John Burnell, if you can't handle just plain entertainment, you can keep stepping and get back to your candelabra, and there's your blacksmithing for the night. Finish your 127 freaking candle holders.
I thought he was up to 477.
I don't know. The thing's got to be like 10 feet wide and freaking 12 feet tall by now. I mean, like it's huge. I mean, how many candles can you put in a candelabra that size? But yeah, fucker's gonna beat us all.
I heard he's donating it to auction it off.
Yeah, I'd pay $5 for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
550.
575.
576. Oh!
Yeah, no, I'm out.
Oh, damn it. I guess I'm stuck with it. I'm kidding. If you haven't seen pictures of it, holy crap, it's amazing.
John,
John just likes yelling at me.
who are you calling Becky? Because I mean, like, I'm not sure if you're just being facetious or if you're being insulting, and
Or I think
I'm
he's
not really
trying to
sure. I'm not
be.
really sure how.
Oh,
I'm yeah. I don't know because there's nobody here named Becky, and I mean, eh, I don't know where that's going and why.
it's,
Uh,
it's John. Where do you
oh,
think it's
Canadian
going?
nectar. There's a passage in Newfoundland that will blow over tractor trailers over. Bitch, please. Oh my God. I 25 through Wyoming and Montana just laid down in a row going all up the interstate, and you know
Okay,
because
so the road
and
sideways
they
there.
and they have big signs. It's like no empty tractor trailers. You're not allowed on the road unless it and like at certain times of the year, you're not allowed on the road unless you're loaded. If you're empty, pull over, go to sleep. Maybe you can leave tomorrow. Maybe the next day.
Oh shit! I just clicked live chat instead of top chat. There's a whole lot of stuff I'm missing.
Oh yeah. If you're not in top chat, you're missing half of it.
Oh, he's John's talking about around the campfire. Becky the throat goat
Okay.
from
I thought I
Quad
wasn't sure if he
State.
was calling me Becky, and it's like, wait, if you're calling me Becky, what does that even mean? And
It's the
are you being mean? Because I mean, like,
it's a joke from Quad State. You may have been imbibed of
no.
alcohol.
I'm aware of the goat thing, but I was unaware of the
Not the
Becky
goat thing, the throat goat.
throat goat. What?
Not Becky, actual goat or whatever goat noises are.
Yeah, like you don't know.
Not that gay ass goat, that
Not the
almost
gay
ran.
ass goat that almost caused a wreck.
Yeah, not a goat, but like goat, greatest of all
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah. Nobody named Felicia, but she's right next to Becky.
All right. Sorry, I didn't know where that came from, and I'm like, I could have been imbibed. Bitch, was I awake? Come on now. If I'm awake and I'm not at work,
Right.
yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. I-80. That's a stretch, all right. But I mean, like, I don't. The time I was there, I don't remember I-80 having a lot of them blown over by wind. It was all like 25. I'm like, once you get just outside of Cheyenne, and the next like 10 miles, that's where they were all taking a nap on the side of the road. Like, oh look, it's the elusive tractor trailer napping on the side of the road. And there's a line of four of them just laid over on their side, just like nose to tail, like they were all just driving down the interstate and they all turned over and slid in the median at the same time. Uh, that picture was posted by the Wyoming Highway Patrol, and it's epic.
I
Chugwater,
will say though,
Wyoming.
if you are interested in checking out a hurricane, go early in the year. You do not want a late season hurricane.
Uh, Kevin says we're all watching Alexis Unsober. Yes, you are.
Alexis
I was
unsober.
I was supposed to be in bed by now. That hasn't happened. One natural disaster I would never want to experience again is a bushfire, dude. I got to admit I don't want anywhere near that shit. Nah, mate, I'm good.
Fires are big pansies. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
never mind. I guess I completely missed the whole fucking joke, and John's pissed now at me. So it's not just you, Yelmas. Yeah, he's wrote us both off.
John, all you have to do is talk about anything other than blacksmithing, and he's irritated.
Yeah,
He's like, "Well, screw this. I'm going home."
it's such a.
Okay.
I'm taking my toys and I'm going home.
You got to go back and listen to, or watch, or listen to the last of that episode this morning, John, because I thank you. I apologized to you. And we got into some really good blacksmithing talk. John, he goes, I'm not pissed. Love you guys. He's like, yeah. Like, I'm going to trust somebody who says they're not mad at me again. Last time I did that, I got a hammer in the hand.
That's what you get for trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Daniel's like, that's what happens with the Santa Ana's. A lot of napping trucks. Yeah. Uh, I've only been in a truck one time that decided to take a nap, and it was not fun. I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean, like, I will have to admit, I turned over to the driver's side, and so it was pretty easy because, of course, it's slow motion. I mean, like, accidents are always slow motion. That's the way it goes. And so as I'm going over, I'm turning into lean. I'm mashing on the gas as hard as I can. I mean, like, trying to get underneath it. And the whole time I'm leaning further and further and further, towards the swamp side. And I'm just like, trying to power my way through it so it doesn't turn over. And then my swamper passes me in the cab. Like, he was on his side, like, had his arm out the window holding on to the door. And then, like, he passes me, goes right behind me and hits my window. And then, like, it seemed like 3 seconds later, it was probably like 0.3 of a second, I landed on him when we hit the ground. Because I was almost, like, I almost stayed vertical the whole time. And then when the truck stopped turning over, then I fell over and landed on him. And I think that's what broke his ribs, is me. But I had a nice soft landing. So, yeah, it's neat to see pictures of a truck taking a nap. It's not neat to be in it when it decides to take a nap. Other than the fact that I can say I've done it. Us talking about blacksmithing? Never. Well, no, okay, you know what? I'm going to say this is Alexis Unhinged, and this is talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. It doesn't have to be blacksmithing related. It could be politics. It could be religion. It could be her. It could be whatever the fuck it wants to be. Yamez does blacksmithing. I'm just gonna have a conversation, and it's gonna go wherever it goes. No holds barred. Adult beverages included. Profanity included. And if somebody gets offended, I'm sorry, but we've all got opinions. Some of us are right. Some of us are wrong.
I'm right.
I'm right. You're wrong. And we all feel that way, and that's okay. I respect everybody's right to have their opinion. I don't have to agree with it, but I respect your right to have that. And I'm not trying to be obtuse or confrontational or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, hey, this show is about me just saying what's on my mind, and what's on my mind changes via what's in the chat. And this conversation can go anywhere. I mean, if John Burnell wants to bring up the type of elastic that makes up his Hanes, we can talk about whether the fact that is it 50% polyester or 36% cotton, or what's going on there. Why is it stretchy, and why is it now all loose, and why did it lose its elasticity?
It's all loose and loses its elasticity when it spends the majority of its time around the knees.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay, I didn't. Shit, you got me on that one. I was going somewhere else, and then I was going to go with the commercial about the bacon neck T-shirts, But ooh,
I'm sorry.
John. Adam doesn't sound funny. Adam sounds sexy. I mean, like, he's got that Australian draw that just like makes American women
Yeah.
moist.
Adam's our sex appeal.
Yeah, yeah. Adam's our sex appeal. You know, I mean, like for women that are into dudes. You know. Okay, so not that many, but you know,
They say sex sells, so I called Adam and said, "Hey, want to join the channel?"
right, right. We need a smooth talker, and James Earl Jones hasn't returned my calls.
Morgan Freeman straight up said no.
I know, right? It's like, and I'm sorry. I mean, like, dude, Adam, you weren't supposed to know that. I mean, like, we weren't going to tell you that. You know, we went for Morgan Freeman, James Earl Jones, and Harrison
We could
Ford.
say the year option 300.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you weren't our first choice, but hey, we're doing freaking awesome, and I mean, like, hey, I mean, you're no Paul Hogan, but
Right?
Yeah. Adam's gonna punch me when he gets here. Uh,
Sex appeal. You mean like a banana? Yeah.
actually, John Brunell, I've heard it does. Like, my one of my best friends when I was in the military, his wife got a job in Australia, and yeah, I mean, like, she was like the American when she go to the bar, she's like the American accent just does it. And actually, she wound up like cheating on him and marrying an Australian, and she lives there now. But yeah. So yeah, Australian chicks tend to dig an American accent, or they did 20 years ago. But yeah, I know. Paul Hogan's more American than Australian now, but yeah, I mean, like, I was gonna go with Steve Irwin, but fuck, I mean, he fucked up.
Indeed.
You can't do that now. You know. So I went with the Paul Hogan part of the joke because I don't know. I don't think he's dead, but you know.
I don't know.
I am here for voice candy. Adam, you're gonna have
Yeah,
to get on the Discord for a minute because Amy is here to hear your voice. And
yeah.
I have known her for over a decade, and like ran into her on location moving a rig after 10 years. It's like, hey, hey, you know. Remembering a pic if Paul Hogan meeting Queen Elizabeth in his iconic short shorts. What? I'm not on today, Amy. Sorry. God damn it. You were on this morning, Adam. Come on now. Yeah, of course we have his exit clip, but no, I'm sorry. I am the one doing this stream, not Yamez, and I don't have the outro. So, oh, there he is.
You gotta do the lyrics. Let's go, baby, lock the door and turn the
I
lights
know, right?
down low. Put some music
Are you
on the
talking to
song.
me?
Get you sing the song. You know it.
Hang on. Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low. And play some music, play it soft and slow. I prefer, I want to do bad things with you.
Shut up, you crooner.
There you go. There's some True Blood right there, baby. Woo!
Yeah, Amy. Yeah, I especially got on the Discord just so you could hear what I sound like. How's that? I can't read the chat at the moment because I'm on my phone. So
Well, I think in the words of John Brunell, damp.
rather than
I know it. I know it makes me damp. Uh huh.
that's why I'm worried everyone's going to stick me in a tent with you there, Sally. It might not be able to keep your hands off.
Hey.
I might have to wrap yourself in the slag extra tight.
Hey, I am nothing but a proper girl.
Absolutely, but still, I might have to rub. I've met some proper girls in my time, and I'm going to have to tuck myself into the slack.
It's like
Uh,
I'm not. I mean, come on. You're gonna have to wine me and dine me there, Adam. I mean, I don't just give it up for free.
Well, then it's not going to work on the first date because Aussie blokes are well known for going Dutch on the first date.
Oh yeah. Well, sorry about your bad luck then.
Wait,
Wait, what?
what? No, I'm saying I have a weight problem.
Oh, okay.
I can't
I
wait
was
to
going
have a
Wait,
problem.
to say,
I don't know. I'm just full of horrible jokes today.
Adam. It should be early morning where you're at, huh?
it is currently 8:54 a.m.
Ah, that's not
on
bad.
Monday morning.
Right on.
Well,
Daniel
now
Marcus
y'all
says
have heard
he thinks he's the
Adam.
only one here not drunk. I guarantee you, Adam's not at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I'm a night shift worker. If it's first thing in the morning, I'll have a drink. No worries.
Well, no,
And
okay, that's fair because I am the same way. I work night shift primarily, and so like I get in, I get in a lot of times. If I make it here like an hour or two before church, just like I'm 3 beers deep by the time we we start the Sunday morning show, and it's like, hey, I just got to work.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Gosh dang it!
exact, and it's midnight where I am, so you're well within your rights to drink. But no, I will happily have a drink on any day that ends in Y.
I say let's turn this into an impromptu Ask an Australian.
But
Anybody
you're gonna
got
have to read the question to me.
Yeah. Anybody have any
Wait,
questions
hold on.
for?
Adam, what's your? I mean, like, are you fixing to go to work or what is your
Well, I had
immediately like the next 30 minutes, kind of like what you got going on?
absolutely nothing. I'm going to work tonight, so I'll go to sleep today. But I had a little bit of a nap before. About 4 o'clock, I was feeling a bit dozy and I couldn't keep my eyes open, so I had a little bit of a nap. So I'm asleep for the next hour or so.
All right. I didn't want to be imposing and like dragging you out and be like, hey, fuckers, I got to go to bed.
No, I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, so if you have any questions for an Australian, I'm quite happy to ask. I will answer the most commonly asked questions.
Okay,
One,
I have a question.
Go.
This morning during church, what was the name of the guy that we were talking about? The famous Australian outlaw?
Dead Nelly.
Ned Kelly.
Huh?
Ned Kelly. Edward Kelly. Ned Kelly.
Ned Kelly?
Ned. Ned. Ned Kelly.
Med Kelly.
We have our first viewer question. Canadian necktie in with what way does the water flush?
Counterclockwise.
Yes, it does actually flush opposite to the US. It flushes counterclockwise.
Okay, so now this is Alexis Unleashed. This is a no holds barred, unfiltered show. What is Nick Kelly or Mick Kelly?
Ned Kelly.
Ned Kelly. Med Kelly. Fuck.
Ned Kelly was a bush ranger, an outlaw, a horse wrangler, a bank robber, and a cop killer from the 1800s, who was of Irish descent. Who was persecuted by the British authority. Well, his father started off with his father, was persecuting his family, were persecuted, some say unfairly, some say fairly, by the British or the Victorian police, the Victorian colonial police at the time. He was also well known for actually saving another child jumped into a swollen river at the age of 14, actually earned an award for bravery for saving a boy from floodwaters. And then by the age of 18, he was, some say fairly, some say unfairly, arrested for horse wrangling, and then started a life of crime, which ultimately ended in an armed standoff in a pub called Glen Rowan. in Victoria against something like 70 Victorian police officers versus 4 members of the Kelly gang. And he went down in history because he built a suit of armour out of ploughshares, him and his brothers, and he managed to put it on and actually sneak past the Victorian police lines and sneak up behind them and kill several of them before they eventually captured him by shooting him in the legs because his armour didn't take out his legs. And he's well known for writing a very scathing and very Australian descriptive letter about the Victorian police, which went something along the line of crow-headed, wombat-bellied, pigeon-footed, backwards-walking members of society, otherwise known as the Victorian police, or something along those lines. And his final words were, before they hung him, were "such is life." So, he's a folk hero.
He didn't take the bait.
Yeah, no, he didn't take the bait, but it's okay. It's okay. That was a very good. That was a very good, rendition of who he was and why he was famous. I mean, because he was like the Australian, like we talked about this morning. He was kind of like the Australian equivalent of Billy the Kid, where the law's all after him, but the people thinks he's a badass. He's a hero to the people, but he's the public enemy number one to law enforcement.
Now we do have another question.
Yep, go ahead.
And we answered it just as jokingly, but here in America we have a saying when you see somebody digging a hole. Okay, it's like, what are you digging a hole to China? What do you guys say? Where do you guys dig a hole to, if not to China?
We also dig a hole to China.
Okay. So you guys go laterally instead of directly through the core.
Right. Okay. So apparently, digging a hole to China is a worldwide universal thing.
Yep, because if we actually dug a hole straight through the Earth, we'd end up somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. So we'd just drain the ocean.
Flooded. And then y'all would be flooded.
That's it. So we dig down and laterally.
Toronto, to be precise.
So now, how many shrimp fit on the average Australian barbecue?
None.
They don't have shrimp. They have prawns.
That's right. We have prawns, and we also get the good old king prawn, which is
points for Alexis. Thank you.
Yep, points for Alexis. The average king prawn is about 6 inches long.
Oh, shit! Me too.
But the average king prawn is about 6 inches long, and depending on the side of the barbecue, I've got a barbecue that's about 1 foot by 2 foot, so I can fit a fair few prawns on that barbie. And you would not believe just how much Paul Hogan got lambasted for that comment, even to this day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was, but hey, he didn't write it, you know what I mean?
No, and it was a specific ad campaign directed at Americans.
Yes.
And it was also the 80s, so everything was cringe.
Is it true that Foster's is Australian for beer?
Foster's Australian for beer. No, it's not.
Yeah.
How do you say beer in Australia?
We don't drink that shit in Australia. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, so the main, there's probably about 4 or 5 different main beers in Australia. So Carlton is a company that owns about half of them. So you've got Carlton Draft. Victoria Bitter is also a very popular beer, even though I think it tastes horrible. It's also owned by Carlton, so Carlton United Breweries is the owners. So Carlton Draft and VB. Then there's Great Northern, which is an independent brewery from Queensland. That's another very popular one. And then we've got Coopers, which is a distillery brewery from South Australia. And they do more ale, so you've got pale ale and sparkling ale and stout ale and all that type of thing. Then you've got Tui's, which is another independent brewery. Another large brewery. So they do any Tui's. They're also a very old brand as well. They're as old as Foster's easily, but more Australian. So if you really want to drink Australian beer, drink one of the ones I mentioned. Or there's 4X, which is Castlemaine Breweries. So their 4X is also a very popular beer, but 4X is generally considered to be a mid-strength or a light beer. 4X Gold is a mid-strength beer, 4X Light. So if you want to go the heavy beers, you generally go in Tooheys, Carlton, VB, the Great Northerns, or the Coopers. And if you want to go a mid-strength beer, you generally go 4X.
All right. Well, when Adam visits, Alexis, we're going to make sure we have a couple cases of Foster's and some Vegemite and toast. Because
okay, Vegemite I can understand, but the Fosters I'll be using as quench. I wouldn't ask you guys to drink that. I consider Fosters like Budweiser's, and Budweiser is like camping on having relations on a lake.
Yeah, so I would say I've still got. I mean, you have no idea how long one of these freaking containers of Vegemite lasts. I mean,
I know, I still have mine.
This is like I had the little bitty the little squeeze pouches things, and it's like they would last me a week. Like one of these is like a 10-year container of Vegemite, and it never goes bad. I mean, like it keeps indefinitely. Oh, it's so amazing.
Yep. And for those people that wondering what Vegemite actually is, everyone's heard of Vegemite, particularly with the amount of Australians that are actors and stuff like that in the US. It's actually a very it's a developed taste. You have to develop a taste for it.
Yeast.
And most Americans eat it wrong. They put it on like peanut butter or Nutella. You don't do that. You use a very, very small amount, and by small amount, I mean your pinky nail will cover. It's probably more than enough for most Americans. And it was originally developed during World War II from the byproduct of beer. So it was a yeast remnant. But it's very high in vitamin B and folates and all that type of stuff, which is healthy. And it was designed to basically supplement the diets of during wartime, and Australians fell in love with it. Of course, being a byproduct of beer.
And unless your name is Rob Garman, Granddad's Forge, where you buy like cases of Vegemite and you like eat an entire freaking tube a day. I mean, like it just like sucks it, doesn't put it on anything, just sucks it straight out of the tube. It's like this is the best shit ever, and I'm like, I'm
like gargling with it.
Well, okay, so like early on in my transition, I had a lot of like really bad salt cravings because one of my medications does that, and so like I always want pickles, right? Always like 2 or 3 big ass pickles a day, just whatever. Vegemite was the same way. It's like I could eat the shit out of Vegemite, just not necessarily a whole tube, but I could put some fucking Vegemite on a cracker, and let me tell you, but that tapered off. I mean, like as things kind of leveled out, and I found my like normal. I mean the pickle cravings kind of went away, and so did the Vegemite, and so now it's just like. Whenever I have some crackers or whatever, I'm like, you know what would go good on this? A little bit of Vegemite, and I mean a little bit. And and I 2 or 3 years ago, I mean like I was all in on the Vegemite, and now I'm very conservative with it. It's a little bit here and there, and I mean like I said, this container is going to last me 10 years easily, and I've had it for 2 already. So, but that's okay. I mean like it's one of those things that. I had, it's all the rage in Australia, and so I had to try it. And so I bought the little bitty, like, sample packets, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. I need a big container. And so I bought the biggest container I could get, on Amazon, and now I'm like, I could have bought one more package of the samples, and I'd have been okay.
Yep.
But
And
that's okay. I've got Vegemite for the rest of my life, and be all right. I like it.
And for those of you that I was talking about, you can use the pinky now. The way to actually eat Vegemite is the best way to eat Vegemite, in my opinion, is make some toast. So you toast your bread, nice, lots of butter, right? So and then spread the Vegemite nice and thin on top, like with just the pinky amount, and that will give you the right balance of flavor, as opposed to like I said, a lot of particularly Americans get introduced to Vegemite with, like laying it on like Nutella, and it is assaulting to the assaulting and insulting to the senses when you try and eat it like that. It's not designed to be eaten like that, and that's why a lot of Americans go. You see the video reactions of people going, "Oh, that tastes like a shoe," and also, speaking from the country that will also drink beer and spirits out of shoes, we call it doing a shoey.
And
the only reason I still have.
To be fair, I mean, okay, that's true. I mean, like people see Nutella, and I mean, like, and okay, so to a certain extent, video reactions, you want to ham it up. It's like, oh, you can't eat a tablespoon of cinnamon. All right. Well, you already know you can't, but we're going to do it on video anyways because it's entertaining. Well, same thing. You want to spread Nutella on a piece of bread, or spread Vegemite on a piece of bread like it's Nutella, because you know it's going to make a good video. But at the end of the day, when you very lightly spread Vegemite on a piece of bread, or just a smidge on a saltine cracker, it's freaking amazing. I mean, like, it is the perfect, because Vegemite is salty, okay? So for those of you that haven't had it, it's salty. And there's no, I mean, it looks like Nutella, but it's not Nutella. It's salty. And so, like, it adds that to whatever you're eating. So, like, on a piece of toast, a little bit of Nutella goes a long way, and it's perfect. On a saltine cracker, you need a little bit less because it's smaller and it's already salty. But I mean, like, so in the right circumstances, Nutella's fuck. God damn it, Adam. You fucked me up with that with saying Nutella, and I never think of that because I've never eaten it. But Vegemite is pretty good when you eat it correctly. But I mean,
I recommend that every blacksmith should have a jar of Nutella in the forge, right, to bring it back to blacksmithing as well, because a lot of people drink pickle juice and stuff for the electrolytes and the salt, and it causes you to drink more water. Vegemite, a little bit of Vegemite will also stop you to stop and actually eat, because we all have a habit of not eating while we're in the forge as well. But it'll stop you because of the amount of salt. It will stop you and force you to not only eat but also drink. You will drink a lot of water after you have some Vegemite. And it replaces vitamin B, which gives you energy.
Yeah, baby. Can I get a oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
No, wait. Go, do the what is it? The Kool-Aid guy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Clip that for later, right? So, are there any more questions in the chat? Went on a rant about Vegemite for a while.
Yeah, Vegemite. And there's probably like 10% of the stream, or the people in the stream, including us, that have tried it. But I mean, it's I don't know. I like it, but I mean, I don't eat it very often anymore. But I mean, because it's a thing that is like, I am currently eating something that would be kick-ass with a Vegemite, and so I add it to it. But if I'm not in that situation, no, I don't really think about it.
Here's a little trick for you. If you're ever doing something with beef stock, or you're making a stew or something like that, add a little bit of Vegemite as well. It'll add a new dimension to the actual food.
Okay. Well, like as an additive to a mixture.
Like to the stock or to the stew or whatnot, add a little bit of extra flavour, a little bit of like just like using beef stock or seasonings in it. Or even I even know people who use it. You know how they do rubs on barbecues and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that'd be
Use
good.
it, use it in your barbecue rub.
Huh.
It's like a beer flavored brisket.
Well, no, I mean, because then you could just rub it in beer. But I mean, like Vegemite, because Vegemite doesn't taste like beer. Because it's a byproduct of the production of beer. I mean,
It's yeasty.
It really is kind of its own animal. And
To me, it tastes like some IPAs.
no,
Yeah.
It's got a very umami flavour.
John Burnell has it exactly. It's like adding bouillon cubes. That's right.
Yeah.
Because like
It's got a very-
if you eat a cube of beef bouillon, it's I mean, just like unwrap a cube of beef bouillon and throw it in your mouth, and you're like, oh, well, this isn't really good, but I'm interested. I mean, like, it's a very similar reaction that you would have the first time you just tried Vegemite straight, like not on something, just like squeeze it on your finger, put it in your mouth. It's a very similar, not consistency, but
Speaking of bouillon,
mouthfeel reaction to the saltiness, the different, I mean, it's very similar. Thank you, John. That is a very accurate, I think, a very accurate description of how it would taste all by itself, and how it may affect a food. Yeah, well, and
now.
Okay, John.
I am
Yeah,
thinking about
you're
it.
finally freaking right about something. Yeah. Points. Points.
You want to fun? Speaking of bouillon cubes, you want a fun prank to play on your bunkmates?
Hold on.
Open the
Y'all
shower.
carry things for 20. Y'all carry things for about 2 minutes. I gotta step 20 feet to the side and handle something.
Okay.
Yamas, you can do the bouillon cube in the shower. You can do the same thing with Vegemite. It looks more realistic.
You take and you put a bouillon. You unscrew the shower head, and then you put a bouillon cube in it, and then screw it back on, and then every shower until that thing is gone is like a beef shower.
I was just talking about putting a scoop of Vegemite in the bathroom floor.
No. I'm talking about taking a bouillon cube, putting it inside the shower head, and then putting it back on. So the next person who takes a shower, it's a beef shower.
Fair enough. So, are there any more questions in the chat for me, Yamas?
In the chat for you.
You might have to scroll back up. I did come specifically for Amy, so she better have a question for me.
Amy has not had a question. She wants to try Vegemite, but is going to have to hit up Alex for that. I don't know if Amy has a question or not. What was that? Red Gum Forge? Somebody popped in the voice chat. But we'll wait for the chat to catch up, see if anybody...
Okay. Well, I'll answer a couple of commonly asked questions. So people always ask me about the spiders. I do have a rather large, or a couple of rather large spiders that live in my house. They're probably about 2 inches across leg span. But they're completely harmless. They're called huntsmans. They just eat bugs, and they are our friends. They eat bugs and other spiders, and particularly dangerous spiders. And they eat, they keep the bugs away, keep the frogs down, and all that type of thing. And they're not venomous to humans, and they're rather solitary. Yeah, they'll run across the floor and get away from you before anything. And they don't build webs. But the biggest spider I've ever seen personally is about the size of a dinner plate, and that's in Central Australia. That's in the desert. And they're called bird-eating spiders.
No.
So we get, not where I am, but a couple of 1,000 kilometers away, a couple of 100 miles.
You say 2 inches is the huntsman spider. We've got actually I'm nurturing about 4 webs around my garage of we call them writing spiders. Not quite sure what the scientific name of them are, but they're orb weavers. They're big, nasty orb weavers, and when they get big, they can be about 3, almost 4 inches across. And I have seen them eat birds. Like I've seen birds get caught up in their webs. We do have a question. Although, real quick before I get to the question, I wanted to say again, Sully, just before you left, I was telling you to play a prank on your bunkmates. Take a bouillon cube, open the shower, or go into the shower, take the shower head off, and slip the bouillon cube up in the shower head, and then screw it back on. So the next person who takes a shower takes a beef shower.
Yeah, we don't have group showers. I mean, like we each have our own room with our own shower and bathroom. And
break into somebody's room then.
No, in my shack, we all have like we bought our own door handles with locks and everything. So like each of us has our own key, and I am the like local like house maintenance person. I know where everybody's like spare key is, but I mean, I'm not going to do that with it.
Do it to Ryan.
No, I'm not. I will not go in there.
I don't blame you. So, question for Australians: does anything in Australia outback that doesn't want to kill you?
I think that's a tricky question. There's probably one. I wouldn't say it's outback. It's on an island. It is. I'm trying to remember the name of it. No.
Is that little koala bear thing that like hangs on your finger? This teeny tiny that looks like it wants to kill you, but it really doesn't.
No. I was talking. I'm thinking about the Rottnest Island. What are they called?
I don't know. What sort of creature is it?
They're a tiny little marsupial, and everyone sees them on the internet. They think they're really cute. They've got this really cute smile.
That's totally what I'm talking about.
No.
I don't know what they're called.
You're talking about a possum.
No, I'm talking about these things that are like, it's a marsupial that's like little bitty, like a couple inches tall.
They throw their babies at you.
Yeah, those ones.
Huh?
Yeah, those ones. The ones that throw their babies at you.
Yeah.
Fuck.
There's literally in our group chat. There's literally a meme with that thing hanging on somebody's finger, and it says, "Everything in Australia wants to eat you," or something like that.
Yeah, and this that's a possum. There's another one with a. They're pictures of these little things.
It looks like a 2-inch tall koala bear.
Yeah, no, that's a possum. These ones are probably about 6 to 8 inches tall. They're like little kangaroos.
Okay.
With round ears.
Quokka.
A quokka. So quokkas are really friendly because they don't really have people around, and they're really nice, and they're prey animals. They've nearly been wiped out by foxes and competing with rabbits and whatnot and cats.
Self-defense is throwing their babies at you.
That's it. Their defense is throwing their babies at the predator. But
it's like, that's bad luck, kid, but I can make more of you.
Yeah. So they don't really want to kill you, but just about everything else, even if it can't, it wishes it could. We have so if you really want entertaining videos, watch videos of magpies swooping. So Australian magpies during mating season and breeding season, they will attack everyone. There's videos of kids riding down the street screaming because they've got a magpie chasing them and pecking at the helmet. Then of course our Australia's largest eagle, which is the wedge-tailed eagle, it's been known to take on paragliders and light aeroplanes.
I've got a 5-ounce silver wedge-tailed eagle from the Perth Mint.
Yep. So they're the biggest Australian eagle, and they're very territorial. Like I said, they'll take on light planes and paragliders quite happily.
So will I.
So yeah, and kangaroos are known to take on people as well, and of course grab dogs. You know, they're rather nasty. Emus, we lost a war against emus. We're still salty about that.
I've pet an emu.
and for those of you that don't believe us, look up the Great Emu War. We legitimately lost a war against the Australian emu. But as a bit of revenge, we also eat our national emblems. So the kangaroo and the emu are on our Australian coat of arms. We're the only country in the world that eats our coat of arms.
Right. Just like a dingo ate my baby thing,
Yes.
I sent you that meme the other day. It's like the dingo farm next to the nursery. And I'm like,
yep.
Yama's like, that's fucked up. I'm like, I don't think so. And you're like, no, that's funny.
Yeah, it is. But to be fair, right, in order, because she went through a lot during the last 40 odd years, but it was only a couple of years ago, about maybe 5 years ago at most, Lindy Chamberlain was actually exonerated for that.
Right.
It was proven they found the baby's jumpsuit, did DNA testing, and it was found that a dingo did actually take the baby.
No, and that's the only reason it's in my opinion, that's the only reason it's funny is because like that's what actually happened. It's not that like she killed her kid and got away with it and said that a dingo ate her baby. It was the fact that a dingo actually fucking stole her kid. I mean, like and that's, to me, I mean, it's tragic, but it's also, I don't know.
Dark humor, funny. Yeah.
It's kind of like the meme of like the little hermit crab. It's like, finally I got my house paid off. I can finally retire, and then a freaking sub from Ocean Gate lands on top of it and crushes his house.
Yeah.
It's dark humor, but it's still funny.
Yep.
I love dark humor. A lot of the viewers don't know that about me. I have an extremely dark sense of humor.
The reason why I add in the caveat is because the dingo ate my baby is a very worldwide joke, and particularly towards Australians and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't know the story behind it, or they don't know that she was exonerated relatively recently, and she went to prison for 10 years for it.
Right.
It was a big thing, but a lot of people don't know that she had actually been exonerated. It was proven it was an actual dingo, because for a long time there were a lot of people on both sides of the fence. It's like the to give a relatively okay comparison, not exactly the same thing, but it's kind of like the whole Michael Jackson thing. Some people think they're innocent, some people don't. But it's now been proven beyond reasonable doubt that Lindy Chamberlain was actually innocent. It was a dingo.
Yeah, and I honestly thought you were going to go with OJ on that, and I was going to be like, wait a minute. I mean, like, you can't really compare the two.
The whole OJ thing is hilarious.
Huh?
He gets proven not guilty or whatever, and then goes and asks for his glove back, and then writes a book. If I had killed my wife, how I would have killed my wife or whatever. And basically is bragging about how he did it.
Yeah. I would say, if anyone's guilty, it was OJ, but, I hope I don't meet him.
But in her case, no, I mean, like, and to be fair, I mean, like, that happens a lot, where somebody's, like, just in the wrong place, at the wrong time, in the wrong circumstance, and it's like, all the evidence points to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then you wind up in the hoosegow for a decade, and then they're like, "Oh, we found her baby in some dingo poop," And
you know what?
Oh,
you bring up
sorry.
something.
We thought you were lying. Oh well, like you took 10 years of my life. That should be worth $10 million, right? I mean, here in the States that happens. Like when somebody's wrongfully convicted, they usually get awarded recompense from the state at least. I don't know about Australia or not. If it's just like, sorry about your bad luck, mate. I don't know, but
that's actually one of my greatest fears. Being a residential electrician, going into all these thousands of houses over my lifetime, is that I'll be in a house and then that house will be like a murder house, and we found the suspect's DNA, and it's like, yep, there's old Yamez doing what he do,
Right. Look at all
bleeding
these
all
other
over the
houses he's
place.
been in.
Huh?
And said, look at all these other houses he's been in.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just, you happen to cut your finger in this one and you happen to get blood in this one? Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question, there are a lot of things in Australia that will kill you. Most of those things aren't in capital cities, though. If you do a trip to Australia and you're just going to see Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane and whatnot,
You just got to
then
deal
you
with
probably
axe
won't come.
wheelers.
Yeah, you won't come across most of them. That said, you will come across one of the most deadly spiders in the world if you go to Sydney, because it's endemic to that region,
Is it the
and that's
huntsman?
the Sydney funnel web.
Oh. What is it?
Yeah, the Sydney funnel web. Go.
The Sydney funnel web, you said?
Yep, the Sydney funnel web. It's actually a trapdoor spider. It lives in the ground. So if you wear shoes when you're walking around, you should be fine. We have everyone in Australia generally have the habit of checking their shoes, bashing it. Particularly if they leave them outside, they bash their shoes before putting them on, because that will upset any spiders that have crawled in them, or snakes, or frogs, depending. And that way you don't stick your foot into something that could otherwise be deadly.
Yeah, we do that for scorpions here.
Mm. Oh yeah, we have scorpions here too. They're less of a threat, so we kind of forget about them.
Our scorpions will fuck you up. I mean, like, you'll know they were there for a couple of weeks. I mean,
You know what? I used to have fun with scorpions when I was living in the Keys. There was a bunch of scorpions that lived in the liquor closet for the restaurant that I worked at, and I would get there in the morning. And I would set up the bar for the bartender. And this one day, I grabbed a bottle and took a swig, and accidentally dripped a little, and I looked down at the floor. And it had fallen on a scorpion, and the scorpion, like, reacted to the alcohol hitting its back and stabbed itself. And I thought, that's neat. So I found another one and was dripping. It happened every single one that I did it to stabbed itself in the back wherever I hit it with the alcohol. Like, killed itself because it didn't want to be drunk. Or it didn't like
Fair
me.
enough.
Take your pick.
But yeah, no, we do have scorpions here, and they're also rather deadly. But we kind of forget about them because of everything else that we've got.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You live in Australia, where 9 of the 10 deadliest animals live in Australia.
Yep.
And
that's not. I mean, added to that,
that's an actual, like, poisonous type things that can kill you with a bite. Yeah, 9 of the top 10 are there. I think the one that's not is it's either the black asp or the black adder. One of those two. I don't know which one it is. It's probably the asp. Because I think it's native to Africa.
Yeah, black mamba is native to Africa. But we've got octopuses. The blue ring octopus is probably the deadliest octopus in the world. We've got the stonefish,
the Portuguese man of war, the box jellyfish.
Yep.
Portuguese man of war isn't in strictly Australia though.
No. But they do have them there.
Yeah.
We've also got we do have something jellyfish that is almost pretty much strictly Australian, and that's the irukandji.
You guys have Cassiopeia jellyfish.
That shit has just washed up here. Like last week, some of those washed up here in the Gulf of Mexico. It's a
the irukandji
invasive species.
Ooh, okay, interesting. Because put it this way, irukandji are deadly because A, there's no anti-venom, and B, you can't see them. They're about the size of your pinky nail, and they're tiny. You can't see them in the water.
Okay, it's not that. There's some other. I don't know. Okay, so I got that one wrong. My apologies. There was some. It was I just literally, like, 2 days ago saw the headline, and I did not like take the clickbait. But it was a deadly Australian jellyfish now washing up on Gulf of Mexico, Texas beaches.
That could be the box.
And it's I mean, like, I don't know how big it was, but I mean, like, in Texas, if something that's the size of your fingernails washing up, nobody's going to notice. I mean, like, everything's big in Texas. So, like a Portuguese man of war, everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to see that and go, fuck. Same thing with a box, But I don't. So there's got to be some other. I mean, it's because it would have said Portuguese man of war or box jellyfish if it was one of those. So it's got to be a different one, but bigger than.
It is the four-handed box jellyfish.
Okay.
Yep. So the box jellyfish, is the one that has been washing up in America.
You know what?
And
I gotta say,
that's
we all
nothing.
sound so smart, but what the average viewer doesn't realize is we're all sitting at computers or on our phones, and we look this stuff up as we're talking.
Okay, so
we're dumb.
I'm gonna say right now, I don't look up shit while I'm on a stream ever.
Oh, no, me neither. Me neither.
Unless I say, hold on, let me look this up. Everything I say comes off the top of my head. So
me too. Same here.
I mean, and that's why I often premise that I could be wrong, or this is the information that I have, or this is what I think I read, or this is what I think I saw. I mean, like I always preface what I say
I was making a joke.
Well, no, but I mean, you're also kind of serious because, like, Adam just did look that up.
No, he didn't. He's on his phone.
No. I did actually look it up on my phone.
So to be, I'm being fair. Like sometimes we do look that stuff up, but if I'm gonna look something up, I'm gonna tell you, hold on, let me look that up. Otherwise, what I'm saying is coming off the top of my head from information that I've gotten in the past, which may or may not be accurate. And so I'm open to be corrected and proven wrong. Just like early, when Yamez is like, hey, or not Yamez, fuck. Adam's like, oh, Portuguese man of war, box jellyfish, and I'm like, no, it's not either one of those. And then he looked it up, and it's like, nope, it was a box jellyfish. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas most long-term viewers will understand I would rather be correct than right. So I'm happy to be wrong, but I'll look things up because I'd rather be correct.
I absolutely love being wrong and shown that. I mean, like because when I'm wrong, I learn something.
John Burnell wants to know if you can forge a jellyfish.
Well,
Yamas can't. He has to fabricate it.
Yeah, can I forge one out of iron, or can I pull one out of the ocean and forge it? That's a very open-ended question. If I pulled one out of the ocean, well, it will go squish. So you can forge it. It just wouldn't be very successful.
It wouldn't go squish because as you heated it up, it would become calamari, and you would have to eat it. Nom nom nom.
Yeah,
that's squid, not a jellyfish.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't really eat jellyfish. I mean,
I'm sorry. Fuck. Why did I think squid and jellyfish?
Well, why do they call it jellyfish if it doesn't taste like jelly?
God damn!
Because
that's a big difference, and I can't believe I just. Okay, I am no longer authorized to make comments. I'll just.
Mr. Maker wants to know what the box jelly isotope is.
It is 95% water. So whatever isotope for water is.
That would be hydrogen peroxide, H2O2.
There you go, Mr. Maker. The isotopes for a jellyfish are hydrogen peroxide, H2O2.
That would be the dihydrogen dioxide jellyfish. I don't know.
Yes.
I had somebody the other day ask me something about water or something like that, and the water had to do with the water tank on location. I was like, oh, the artificial containment unit for dihydrogen monoxide. And then there was like this pause, and he's like, I don't think it's dihydrogen monoxide. And I was like, no, it's dihydrogen monoxide. And he was like, no, I don't think that's right. And I'm like, no, dihydrogen. H2O. O. Mon means one. Oxide. So H2 is dihydrogen. Oxygen, one. I was like, no, it's dihydrogen monoxide is water. Artificial containment device means not a lake or a river, something that contains water.
So like a
It's always
cup.
fun. Yep. And I've actually seen water bottles that have caution, poison, dihydrogen monoxide containment.
Right.
That's a good joke.
Yeah,
Oh.
and as well as the joke, like two chemists walk into a bar. The first chemist says, "I'd like a glass of H2O," and the bartender's like, "Right on." And the second chemist goes like, "I'd like a bottle, or I'd like a glass of H2O as well." And then the first chemist says, "Damn, my assassination attempt failed."
Yep.
Now that only makes sense because he was supposed to say, "I'd like a glass of H2O2 too," which would have been hydrogen peroxide, which would have been, fatal.
Yep. So yeah. But yeah, we've got a lot of deadly land and sea creatures. It's if you want a really good comedic story, look up the saga of Rhonda and Katut.
Oh wait, you know what I was gonna say earlier that I missed, and you were like, if you want to see something about Australia, look up something or other. What was it?
I did might look up something for Kawakas.
No,
Yep.
I don't remember what it was. I mean,
Wombat square poop.
no. I don't remember where it was, but I thought at the time, no, if you want to know what it's Australia about, you Google Australian burnout contest.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's Australia. I mean, like,
That
and that is above and beyond any other country on earth fucking attempt at a burnout contest. I mean, it's just like you watch an Australian one and you're like, what the fuck have we been doing for fucking 40 years? Why? How do we not? How did they? No, this isn't right. Because you watch an Australian burnout competition and then you have a kind of new outlook on life. It'll change the way you think about muscle cars and what you can do with them. But anyway,
I actually watched the other day. NASCAR has incorporated a V8 supercars type street event.
They had a street race in Chicago, and the big news was only 4 of the drivers got shot.
But dude, I mean, like, how about the NASCAR car at the 48 car? I don't remember what the number was, but Jimmy Johnson drove it. But the NASCAR car at Le Mans, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I mean, he didn't do that well, but I mean, like, in qualifying, he was 3 seconds faster than every single other car that qualified, and their pit stop was 3 seconds faster than everybody else's pit stop, and their cars have air jacks. And the NASCAR car's got a fucking floor jack where they got to jack it up 3 pumps, change the tires, go to the other side 3 pumps, change the tires. Whereas all the other F1 cars, it's like they hit a button and boop, the whole car lifts into the air. I mean, like the 24-hour Le Mans, that thing, and because you'd hear the other cars go by, and then you hear the NASCAR car go by. It's like. You got a V12 with a 2-inch stroke that goes by at 12,000 RPM, and then you got a V8 with a 5-inch stroke go at 9,000 RPM, which the stroke makes all the difference in the tone. But oh my god, I mean, just like watching, I watched a lot of it. I probably watched 2 or 3 hours. Okay, 2 or 3 hours of the 24 Hours Le Mans, not 24 hours, but I watched enough of it to be like, man, that was a pretty cool, like, exhibition showing, because they were in their own class, but it was a good show.
Yes, Canadian necktie. Wolf Creek movies are based on a true story.
Yes,
Creek.
they are.
What?
Wolf Creek. The Wolf Creek movie was very loosely based on a true story. It was based on the murder and the investigation. It was inspired, I should say, by the murder investigation of a British backpacker by the name of Peter Falconio and his then girlfriend.
So they're not
So
together
okay, so
anymore?
like I was kind of confused there because to me Wolf Creek is a pass between Durango and Pagosa Springs, Colorado. Wolf Creek Pass way up on the Great Divide, trucking on down the other side.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Wolf Creek is a crater located in the northern eastern part of Western Australia, just across the Northern Territory border. Peter Falconia was disappeared. He was abducted with his then girlfriend. It was about 15, 20 years ago. Hey.
If it's his then girlfriend, that means that she's single.
Well, yeah, no, she survived. She escaped, but it was they were abducted at a truck stop / service station or gas station. I think it was Wycliffe Well in the central part of Northern Australia, or central part of the Northern Territory. And Peter Falconia's body has never been found.
Bingo.
So, yeah, well, so that was a it was, like I said, Wolf Creek was actually inspired by a true story. They did catch the guy though. He's the guy that was arrested for it is now in prison. But like I said, Peter Falconia's body was never recovered.
I hate to say it, guys, but I've got to get out of here. I got to lay down. I'm dying.
Dude, it's like so early. I mean, okay.
No, but
No. It's cool, dude. I mean, like, no worries. I mean, I get it.
you guys keep going. Keep it going. Entertain the masses.
No, I mean, like, we're just here. I mean, like, somebody said earlier, you're still here, and it's like, dude, I haven't even been on 2 hours. I mean, like,
I know, right?
This isn't a 2 hour forging stream. This is a let's sit down and bullshit until I'm too drunk to fucking do it.
And me not being able to sit up straight anymore.
But you have work tomorrow, don't you, Yamas?
Yeah, I worked yesterday. Yeah. John Burnell puts it so succinctly. We started without him. We won't miss him. Yep.
I'll miss you, Yamas.
Yeah, me too. I'll only miss you till September. Then I get to be the big spoon.
Yep. Sleeping on the couch. But anyway, I will catch you guys later. You guys have fun. I'll let me know how it goes. And don't let John Burnell abuse you too much.
He's such a sadist.
Yeah,
I'm Australian. It doesn't worry me. We talk to our friends like that.
Right.
I talk to you guys like that.
Right. So like, and I wanted to say, like, earlier in the show, like when I said, what is Ned Kelly? You were supposed to say he's a sick cunt, and,
Oh, right, okay.
And then you went into this whole fucking tirade, and I was like, this is the show where you can actually just say that, and nobody cares because, as long as you don't curse in the first 30 seconds, you're good.
You also got to remember, I've trained myself not to use Australianisms around Americans because you do kind of have a reputation of being a little bit touchy, particularly around the word cunt.
No, I know, I know, and I mean, like, and it's, I don't know why that's just an American thing. I mean, like, I work with Canadians.
It's not an American thing.
I work with
Canadians. It's not an American thing.
And Canadians use the word cunt the same way. It's like a term of endearment, a term of like respect, or the term of or being a hard ass. I mean, like, and I mean, so it's not like derogatory. Whereas in the States it is, and I'm not really sure why, but I don't really think that really holds true anywhere else because I mean, like, anywhere that English is is bastardized into its dialects or whatever. I kind of think that it's more of a positively
Well,
applied adjective than negatively, whereas in here in the States, it is specifically means a bitchy woman, you know.
did you know?
And you can't, and anytime if you call somebody a cunt, you're calling them a bitchy woman. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I understand because I've worked with Canadians for 10 years, and I've had Australian friends for a few. I mean, like, like, dude, you're a sick cunt. You know, I mean, like that means you're cool as fuck. You know, I mean, like that's the way I see it. But an American that's not exposed to that would be like, wait, what the fuck did you call me? You know.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting dichotomy in language.
All right. I'm going to officially say goodbye, you
I thought
countrymen.
you already did that.
I was waiting
Night,
for a
Yamez.
pause. Night.
Good night, Yamez.
Well, and to go back to the original comment before, do you know the etymology of the word cunt?
No.
Okay, so
I
that
just know
word
how
is
it's
actually
used in different civilizations. Currently.
it's been used in the English language since before the English language was written, and it's actually the only word that specifically refers to a woman's anatomy that doesn't either refer to an animal or a it doesn't have a vulgar connotation. Originally, didn't have a vulgar connotation in the sense of like love tunnel or velvet purse or all that type of thing, or being referred to as a sheath. So the word vagina actually is a Latin word, an ancient Roman word for the word sheath,
Right.
like a sword sheath, right? Whereas the word cunt was created theoretically by women to refer to their own anatomy, and was actually, and that's all it means. Well, in Old English anyway, that's all that the original word actually means. It just means the vagina. It wasn't until the rise of religion in England, and the you could say the vulgarification of certain words and acts, that word became negatively connotated. I found that out a couple months ago, and I thought that was extremely interesting. And specifically, you would think that, particularly in the US, there were certain portions of the population that would want to, in inverted commas, take that word back, because it's very empowering, or I think, for to take a word back to its original meaning.
No, and that's exactly right. I mean, like, if you look at any marginalized group of people, there is a descriptive word that describes them in a negative way, and and being able to own that word gives you power. And if you take black people, that's the N-bomb. They own that word, and they can say that word, and it gives them power. Because if I say that word, I'm fucking canceled. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say it because, like, I understand the connotation and the history and what it means. And no matter how I view it, I understand how someone else can view it and why it's not cool. And by the same account, like in my own community, in the LGBTQ sense, the F slur. I mean, like, for the longest time, that has been like the derogatory, like, go-to thing, and recently, people of that persuasion have been like reclaiming it and being proud of it. Like, yeah, that's what I am. And why don't you come get some of this? Whatever. I don't know, but just reclaiming the word so that it takes the power away from the person that's using it as a derogatory term. And I mean, like in my particular case, I mean, like we got maybe a decade or so before we get past all that on our sense of the word, but or words, but that the fact that like a word can be originally start out as something that is derogatory and offensive or whatever, and then can be manipulated by the people that it refers to in such a way that it becomes a positive reimbursement of character, like queer. Queer is a good example. 30 years ago, queer was a derogatory term. Nobody wanted to be labeled that. And today, because we queer encompasses the entire community, right? LGBTQIA, all of us fall under the Q. Every single one of us. And if you're not cis, straight, hetero, if you're not just like, right, if that's not the path you walk, you fall under the Q, right? Which means basically something different, right? And than the heteronormative. And for like most of my life, that has been a derogatory term. And within the last like 10 years or so, it's not big. It's like been reclaimed by the LGBTQIA community, whereas the Q is like a word of pride. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck yeah, that's me. This is my community. This is my people. This is who I am. And when I was in high school, I mean, yeah, I mean, there were 5 of us, and I'm the only one left. I mean, and a lot of that has to do with the societal pressure, and they never made it to the point where the Q was something to be proud of, and I'm glad to be at that point in my life. You know what I mean? And it's interesting to me the way language changes over time. And that's a big reason that I really fell in love with the show Outlander. It's because she's a lady from 1945 that like time traveled back to 1743, and like everything is different, the customs, the language, and she's got to relearn everything. And then when she goes back to 1948, she's got to relearn everything again because everything is so much different, and
I mean, that was a perfect example of that, of last week's church, in the sense of, you guys trying to read the Old English letters.
Right.
You there?
Yeah.
No. Like the difference in language in the Old English letters, that you guys experienced. That, like, and that's only what, 100, 200 years. And
right,
and all the these and my's and nows, and
But okay, so the human languages have a very diverse history, right? So like, I am American, raised speaking, reading, writing English, right? I am
speaking, reading, writing American.
Huh? No, yeah,
speaking, reading, and writing American.
You're correct. I misspoke. American, because there is a difference, and in my quest to learn other languages, like I've learned Spanish and forgotten it. I've learned Italian and forgotten it. I've learned Irish and forgotten it. And because these are all languages I don't use, and by and large, I am not the person that soaks up information and remembers it forever, but I remember information that I use on a fairly regular basis forever. And so I took the time to learn lots of different languages and forgotten them because I've never used them. Any of them at all. Like I learned French, I learned German, I learned Gaelic, not Gaelic, but Irish. And Italian, which is just a skosh off of like Latin. And all of these languages, it was just fun to learn it. There was no practical use for it because in every foreign country I've ever been to, everybody spoke English. I mean, like every person I encountered could speak English. Maybe not fluently, but to enough of an extent that I could understand I could give them the information they needed to give me the information I needed back. And so, like, it really disincentivized me to learn more. You know what I mean? Like, only once in my travels in Europe, I was at in Luxembourg, and we were outside a bar in Luxembourg that was a really high class bar. I mean, like suit and tie type fucking bar, and we were trying to get in, but we were American, and we didn't know it was a suit and tie type bar, and like we were talking to patrons or trying to ask patrons as they were going in to try to figure out what we needed to do to get in, and everybody spoke French or everybody spoke this or that or whatever, but nobody spoke English. That's the only time in my life I've ever been in a foreign country and was unable to find somebody that could be like, oh, okay, what they're saying is this or what they're saying is that or whatever, and so I've taken it for granted that, well, it doesn't really matter where you are. Everybody has their language and they speak English. So Americans don't really need to learn their language because in most foreign countries, I mean, like that aren't primarily English speaking, English is a required course. And so like most foreign countries that aren't primarily English speaking, when I went to Germany, I mean, like, they're like, oh, you need to learn the language, yada, 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 yada. And, well, basically, when I was there in 1994, the people over 50 didn't speak English. So, you needed to learn German to talk to them. But anyone under 50, they spoke fluent English because they've already had 3 years of it. I mean, like, they had to take it in school. And so the language, like the way it evolves over time, I mean, it's fascinating to me how words in one language mean, I don't know. I got lost. Fuck.
Well, there's an interesting point. Trailder said hammer, anvil, tongs, and I had a thought. Oh, that's interesting. The etymology of the word for anvil and forge. I know smith come from smite, but it's going to have to be something I think about and look a little bit into, because that would be really interesting to see how old the actual word anvil is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the like not so much not so much something to strike against, but the actual word anvil, and where it evolved from, or is it an individual word that's only ever meant anvil? Is the word forge a word that's only ever meant forge? That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
And Trail Dust also said, yeah, right, smith is the word from the Old English smite, to hit iron, known as black metal, so blacksmith. Yeah, but it also it's actually kind of a Euro-Germanic or Anglo-Saxon base, because German has Schmidt, which is exactly the same thing. So like smith comes from smite, which Schmidt also comes from smite. So and of course, like for example, the German Messerschmitt means master smith. So so it's interesting. I'm going to look later into a later date into the etymology of anvil and forge. That'd be really interesting. It just shows I get I get really, really strange inclinations to research things.
No, for sure. And you never know where they're going to come from. Okay,
Mm,
so
mm.
I have been live for 2 hours and 33 minutes, and I'm going to have to call it quits because I am fucked right up, and I need to go to bed. And I mean, like, I'm fucked right up to the point where I'm slurring my words, which means, like, I'm inventing a new language. So, now I realize this is fun for the rest of y'all, but for me, it's horrifying when I come back and listen to this shit tomorrow. So, I'm going to have to call it quits, shut everything down, turn off the ring light, turn off the camera, shut down OBS, and, like, worm my way to my sweet abode of my memory foam mattress and down feather pillow. And so I just want to say, for all you guys out there watching, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for not being a bitch and going out to your shop and going to work while I'm doing this. And, I mean, because if you were, you wouldn't be hearing what I'm saying right now. And, y'all have a great weekend. And, Adam, you got anything to say before I cut it off?
Have a good week. Stay safe, and tell people that you love them. Spread goodwill amongst the human race, just for the sake of spreading goodwill.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I had a whole fucking direction this show was going to go, and it never even got close. So that's all right though, because it's all on the fly. It's not planned. The show happens when it happens, and we discuss whatever the fuck comes up. So I will see you next time for Alexis Unhinged, because I do not have my shit together whatsoever. Y'all have a great week. Y'all have a great 2 weeks, a month, whatever the fuck it is, before we come back and get together again to say Slanja. I will see you on the next one.
Bye, all.
Bye.